Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Wonderful. Great to see a lot of familiar faces here today. I guess we're good to start on time and try to finish it on time as well. I have removed all the background slides from our presentation just to give a little bit more space for the agenda specific topics, and then also an opportunity of the Q&A for our colleagues. So colleagues who are in the call with us, welcome to this webinar, a very specific webinar on the UN Common Mobility and Carpooling platform that WFP is offering as part of our high impact common services. This is part of the broader high impact common services that we have been introducing in the past couple of days for your bosses, and the approach that the agencies should take. I mean, the recommended approach to incorporate these common services that are good practices of the agencies, and in a way brings more quality or cost efficiencies for you in a collaborative manner. We don't recommend, I mean, it's a choice, but we don't recommend that you go individually for these services. Our recommendation is always to go collectively as UN, as OMT, and acquire these services and collaborate on these services. Carpooling and mobility is one of the most kind of high impact service for the operations. It is one of the common services that at the headquarters level, the agency's principals are really looking forward to, so that we could utilize our fleet in a much more efficient way, so that we can carpool as much as we can. We could enhance our mobility platforms, move on from the, let's say, several runs to one location by different agencies versus possibility of joining our resources together and utilizing that. And all of these facilities are actually available in what Alessandra and the team from the WFP will be presenting to you. I just wanted to have a disclosure here that what we are trying to do in the UNSDG or from the DCO side, kind of scaling these common services, we're going to present to you or make it available for you all the good practices that agencies have in order to gain better cost and quality. Let's say, for example, in terms of the mobility and carpooling, there are different initiatives currently being piloted and run and tested by agencies. WFP has this one which you're going to see today. UNDP has a vehicle tracking service that very soon you'll be seeing that as well. UNHCR has a very successful service as well. But our effort is to bring all of these to you in your operations management team and recommend to you to collaborate in any of them. If you as agencies can collaborate on the carpooling and use any of these platforms that will satisfy the needs that or the objectives that the UNSDG has in terms of collaboration. So it's up to you to look into all these common services that's being proposed to you into different options and decide in the OMT that which one is more suitable in the context of your country, or even it wouldn't be a major issue if you while we strongly recommend all agencies to go into one particular platform to the extent possible, but practically there might be situations where you will be using, let's say some agencies will be using one platform and another agencies will be using another platform, as long as it's in a collaborative manner, as long as it's more than one agency joining these efforts and collaboration, that is still a good start. So let me stop here. I'll come back to you at the end of the presentation on the way forward and talk to you a little bit more. But I'm going to hand over the floor to Alessandra and the team to tell you more specifically today on what is this UN Common Mobility and Carpooling platform, and what options are there. How can you acquire it for your UNCTs? Over to you, Alessandra.
Thank you, Zamir, very much for your presentation, and welcome everybody here. We are very thrilled to have all of you here because we really want to have you all join the service that was meant to work for and to be beneficial to all UN agencies and to help us shape the new mobility services altogether. My name is Alessandra Bianchini. I'm the Humanitarian Booking Hub Manager, and the team that you have seen, some people were connected before the beginning of the presentation. The team is here to answer to your questions, but we will have a 10-15 minutes moment for us to share common questions and answers. So very quickly, let me just introduce you the framework of the Humanitarian Booking Hub, which is today is the largest UN marketplace for UN field services and emergency support. We started it for internal delivery. There was a need of, we wanted to connect all of the guest houses and have an online booking for the guest houses. The UNHCR saw it and asked us if they could join, and of course we were very happy to. And then by then, so that was 2015. Since then, many other services have been added and other agencies have joined, so that today we have 108, as we speak, 1,008 UN field service points, providing from different agencies and from 10 agencies actually in 19 countries that have served more than 350,000 clients in 2020. Now, the services that you see are there on the slide. We have, almost 3,000 UN vehicles already connected. We have 285 HUNAS flights. We manage 1,500 COVID support flights. That was in 2020. We managed 270. We have 270 UN guest houses from 7 agencies. We have UN DSS listed hotels, clinics, 70 UN clinics, and 35 UN councils that you can book through our platform. But today we want to focus on specifically on the passenger mobility and carpooling services. Now, just for a second, the taxonomy, the way in which we call all of the different services in this area are really many and different, because it's a very exploding, is a very active and developing service, and technology, of course, supports all of the different types of collaboration. So we decided to call it passenger mobility because we want to focus not on the vehicle as an asset, like fleet management would do, but to the clients and to the fact that at the very end of the day, like vehicles are needed to move our staff from A to B. And therefore, it's a passenger mobility service to convey the culture of the client-centric service. Carpooling is, of course, the sharing of different vehicles among agencies, so that a UN staff, hopefully in few years, will be able to use any agency vehicle in case of need. Now, we are a mature service. I have to say that we have already all WFP and UNICEF global as global partners. We have onboarded almost all of WFP operations. UNICEF, we are in the process of onboarding all of them, and other agencies are under piloting. So the countries that you see there are 70. We are present in 345 locations as we speak today. We have 2,000 and we said 900 vehicles. We will reach 3,000 vehicles very soon. We have 181 armored vehicles, 2,300 drivers. We manage the 365 passengers till today, and we have trips per vehicle. Also, this is something that we will touch base, later on in the webinar, the fact that we if we are all together in the same platform, we can share interesting KPIs for us to set us targets for continuous improvement, and also to to scale up the best practices, global practices in the UN world. So we can tell you, for example, you will see also later on that we have an average of 60 trips, trips per vehicle per month. We have an average of 1.6 passengers per trip, and we have 18% of ride sharing. Of course, I just want to notice that, of course, these numbers were all impacted significantly by COVID. We had a ramp up for the year of 2020 were supposed to be much higher, but of course, as we know, there were tough months where some of these services were even stopped, if not reduced in volume. Which are some of the benefits of this solution? First of all, it's a custom-made UN proprietary solution for UN agencies. It's completely 100% developed by WFP, and it's, as we said, is now shared with other agencies, which are using it to offer their services to their own staff or the humanitarian community. So we don't have royalties to pay, and there are no external outsources. So we listen to all of the operations, listen to their needs, and then we prioritize what we need to develop in order for the platform and the service to improve. Mutual recognition, of course, can help you onboard the platform very quickly because we have a standard service agreement, which is the same for everybody. We have standardized the staff self-service portal and, of course, the back end for service administrators, and we also have the mobile app. We can compare UN service KPIs to boost efficiencies among locations, countries, and agencies. We can streamline carpooling solutions, and we are flexible to different governance models. You will see it in a second. We can compare efficiency gains. We are in the process in WP of structuring the analysis and the calculation of the different flows of efficiency gains. We will show what we are doing. And we can compare client satisfaction. This is a very important, big, principle activity where we want to make sure that our service is not only important for efficiency gains, but also for a sound client satisfaction in the field. And of course, we provide continuous support improvements because we share the best practices across the UN. Who can benefit from passenger mobility? Virtually everybody. It really depends on the agency appetite and the agency setup. So just to summarize the different options, if you are an agency, or a location, a single location with vehicles, what you can do, you can start using the tool and this is our preferred option, to start digital transform the way in which you manage your business, bring service innovation, automation, reporting, ride sharing within your organization, and for sure get already a good set of efficiency gains out of it. When you have idea of your data, of your spare capacity, then you can move to offer common service to other agencies in your location. And that would allow you to optimize your fleet utilization, reduce spare capacity, and reach additional efficiency gains. But there are agencies here. We are talking at global level with some agencies that do not have vehicles, and they contacted us to say, okay, can we join the platform and use your drivers and use your vehicles for our staff? Yes, that's of course to be negotiated at the local level. But if everybody uses the same platform, agencies could enter into the local agreement to use mobility services of agencies which have vehicles and are providing common services at the local level. And this will bring efficiency gains to them because they will need to lease and buy a minor number of vehicles till at the very end of the day to reduce completely their fleet to use the other ones' services. And then, of course, we're also talking like more than 10, probably about 15 OMTs in the globe, and that reached out, and they have, of course, a very, very diverse situations. There are situations where agencies have, like in capitals, they have huge, there are some of our capitals that have more than 200 and 500 vehicles from UN agencies, and there are other locations which have none. So OMTs can benefit from, agencies with vehicles having the tool to look at some KPIs to explore opportunities for interagency collaboration, and then move and share agencies' fleets and optimize the service and gain efficiencies. But which is the journey that we started? So let's look very quickly at the application that we are deploying. We are currently deploying to 345 offices. So it was an exciting journey. We really started. This is a real picture of one of our driver's logbook. We thank our Sudan Khartoum colleagues for it. And these were actually the billboards that some of the offices, our offices, used to organize the daily trips. Now we moved completely, we digitalized completely all the customer-related management processes of the service into a platform, which is both a site and a website and also a mobile application. And so I would like to hand over the presentation to Jada for us to just look a quick, look at a very quick video to introduce you to the service. Over to you, Jada.
Welcome to the UN Driver Booking Service of the Humanitarian Booking Hub, the innovative 24/7 field travel services platform featuring guest houses, hotels, flights, drivers, and wellness services for aid workers in remote locations to deliver last-mile aid in more than 90 countries. You can find information on 3,000 vehicles offering the service in more than 70 countries. And you can easily book a trip in one click for yourself or on behalf of colleagues, for as many passengers as needed. You can book airport pickups and drop-offs, in-city trips, and out-of-town missions. To complete your travel experience, you can also request round trips. All bookings are confirmed by email with vehicle details and the driver's contacts for easy communication as needed. An electronic invoice may be sent in case of a service fee. Book a driver from your mobile phone when you're on the go, also in French. You can review the status of your bookings, cancel them in case of need, add your favorites to book just with a click, and review your personal profile. You can help us improve our services by letting us know how your experience was. Download the Humanitarian Booking Hub app or visit humanitarianbooking.org now to begin an easier journey out into the world.
Thank you, Jada, for the video. I just now go quickly to show you the site in itself so that we can share the experience of the clients. So hopefully you can see my screen, and this is the Humanitarian Booking Hub. I just want to very quickly touch base on this functionality here, which is the Explore functionality, which will allow you to see all of the services which are present in each of our countries on our hub. So for example, clicking on Sudan, you can see that there are 20 offices where you can book a driver for mobility services, and there are 23 guest houses, for example. And if you move around the globe, you see the different footprint of our UN services in the field. Now, if we look at our Iraq, let's say colleagues, and for example, you look at all of these, you will enter the map and see all of the different services which are available. But let's look at Erbil, for example. We have UNICEF drivers that you can book and WFP drivers. So let's take the WFP drivers. You get some pictures, you get some information on the service, and you can book in just a click. So I wanted just to show you the fact that if you are already a client of the hub, you just need to have done one booking, and then your data is already there, ready for you. It's inputted, so you don't have to lose time in inputting data. Then you can choose you can select the requested unit so that you have internal accountability of who's requesting the service, the number of passengers. You can also attach documents. And this was very important for COVID, because many of our locations used to ask clients to put their screening COVID questionnaire before or together with the booking of the service. And you can book from an airport trip, an in-town and an out-of-town trip. So this is for the booking part. Every time that I book, I will receive an email confirmation. I will show you later on with all the customer, the details of the service, so that the customer knows what to expect. But I think the most important part that we want to show you in the interest of time is this area which is called digital office. This area is reserved, as you can see, only to service administrators. So these are all of the different back offices of the Global Humanitarian Booking Hub. But let's look at the drivers one. We have all of the agencies here, and if we look at the WFP, you see all the countries that we have connected. But let's take our colleagues from Iraq, and let's take our Erbil office. So this is the dashboard that a fleet manager would see every morning in Erbil. So first of all, I'll get back later on to the customer satisfaction. Let's look at the booking functionality. So you have all of the bookings here that have been done for this location. You can also review any accepted one. You click in it, you will see all the details of that person. And you can edit or cancel that booking if something happens that you need to process or operate that list. But let's take one of the, for example, these one are not processed yet. So I take, for example, this one. And as you can see now, we enter the planner where you see there are all of the, here you get all of the vehicles we have, WP has in Erbil. You see the picture of it, you see the model, and also the plate number. While in this area, you see all of this is today, this is real, and this is us now. So you can visualize all of the trips that they've been made. And if I go in any of these, I will see a quick preview. So for the fleet manager to review very quickly what's going on. But if I double click in any of it, I can change, many of the details. Of course, you can do also ride sharing. So as you can see here, since this is a van, there were two bookings which were placed in the same trip with the same vehicle, and this is where you can actually do a lot of savings in terms of carpooling. But now let's look at up here. I had the booking that I wanted to manage. So if I want to accept it, I can choose the vehicle that I want to use. I can choose the drivers that might want to place that trip. I can choose the price category. I will show you later on why. Let's put it on a short trip, for example. And then I can choose also the drop-off time. Now I can show the preview here, right here. And so if now the manager is happy about where this drive has been assigned, you can confirm, and there is an automatic email that goes to the staff with all the details of the driver's name, an email, a phone number, and also on the model of the car that's going to pick him up, so that there is a complete accountability of the service. Let me, for the sake of the presentation, not book an unnecessary service for our colleagues in Erbil. Now let's look also the invoicing part. We can create an invoice as easy as a click. So the system prompts you all of the clients that can potentially be invoiced. You select one, so that as you can see, that trip is already present in the form. You just add the price if you haven't selected before, and I show you in a second how. And then you can issue this invoice, send it to the copy to the client, or send it also to a third party, and you can add comments and payment methods in case you have one to choose. So this is how easy it is for us to issue an invoice. But now let me move to another important area, which is the price table. Now, the price table stands because many of our operations, not only WP, asked us a quick functionality for them to pilot some kind of carpooling with other agencies. So, of course, you need to be in full cost recovery, as you know, and that can take some time and some data, operative data, for you to decide which is the right price to charge other agencies. So we came up with an easy solution, so that you can put as per category, booking category of going to the airport, in town or out of town. Each category can have up to 4 different pricings. so that you can, for example, Airbill could, engage with the other agencies that are interested in receiving, mobility services, and say that they are willing to bring, UNICEF staff to the airport, and they can agree that they would charge $5 for the trip, right? Or $10, whatever that is. So if they agree to these, they can start running the service as a pilot, understand the data, see how many common rides they have, review the prices, discuss with the OMT level, and more add different types of carpooling in a flexible way. It doesn't have to be on or off. It can be done at a gradual pace, depending on the different locations. But we also have here a price per kilometer. So you can add, as a pricing method, you can have the price per kilometer. And in this case, it would probably be 50 cents. And then you would charge by kilometer. I'll show you in a second how. So you have a different way in which all flexible ways. So it can be a flat price, just to make the carpooling very easy at the beginning, or it can be even a very well calculated price per kilometer that you want to add here to charge your common service to other colleagues in the UN. Now let's move to the reporting area. The reporting area is very interesting. First of all, if I click on the country report, and again, thanks to our Iraq colleagues, for allowing us to have a look into their numbers, you can see that in just a click, I had the complete situation in country. There are 5 locations today from WFP that are providing the service. You can see the total number of vehicles in Iraq, WFP devoted to to mobility services, 86 vehicles, and you have the same numbers for each location. You get the number of the drivers, the total number of trips and passengers. You get also the number of common services that they have run, and also the first high-level, split between the rides that they had going to the airports. Only 1%, 72% were in-town bookings, and 28% were out of town. You can export these in Excel, and of course you can run your statistics. And as you can see, I can go back to 2020 as easy as a click, and ask the platform to calculate for us the numbers for 2020. And you will see in a second, the platform is calculating for you the data for the whole year of 2020. Allow for a second the 5th location to arrive. So as you can see, for example, now in a click, we know that Iraq in 2020, a COVID year, had 1,700 trips and moved almost 2,500 passengers. So there are lots of things that you can do already to understand your business, your service, just looking at this high-level data. Now, if you want to have a closer look at your service, so the country report is really an executive report for managers. But if you look at the mobility report, what you would see, and allow me to take January, because maybe we have a little bit of higher consistency there. You can see our Airbill, and these are all of the single trips that our Airbill office, performed in the month of January. So you get the passenger, the agency, the unit. So you can see you have accountability of the units here, the number of passengers, the transfer type, the vehicle with the plate number, the driver, the time it took for that ride, and the kilometers that it took for that specific. So if they had added the price here, of course, this is internal provisioning, so you don't see a price. But you could easily add a price for that specific trip, either by kilometer or by flat price, and you would have automatically calculated the price. So as you can see up here, there is an executive summary. So the agencies had 287 drives as a total for the total months, for 9,200 miles, for 311 hours. There were no trips to the airport, a lot of trips in town, and more so in out of town. And they also had an invoice here for whatever reason of $15 to some WFP colleagues. So that's how easy it is for us to keep track of really, this is becoming for us, and we are potentiating it, you will see in a second, with the customer sign off of that single trip, and we will have completely digitalized the driver logbook. So this is a feature that we will roll out in the next weeks. So in a month, this will represent for WFP the complete digitalization of the current driver logbooks. Now, going back to the reporting, the back office, another important, interesting area is the customer satisfaction. We wanted strongly in 2021 to convey the idea that we can, in the UN, also look at the service that we provide in terms of customer satisfaction and client orientation. So as you can see, to make it important, we put it in here and we highlighted the rating of this location as a whole. Of course, this is a hidden rating, so only the fleet manager bill, and now, I mean, everybody sees it, but it's a hidden benchmark, because what the fleet manager can do, and of course, let's look at the January, so you can review your customer satisfaction, of course, by ranges of months. But for example, you can review every single ID. You know who the driver was, the date, the ride, and you can see remarks if there are any. And you can see, and then once you have seen the remark, what you can do, you can actually decide if you want if you want to mark this as under process, because you want to understand what was, for example, wrong. You want to forward it for action. If there is anything in here that needs an action, you can just flag it as forwarded for action, or you can close it, like in this case. But the important thing is that we start conveying the idea of a customer satisfaction index. Of course, it's a qualitative tool, and it's really based on the willingness of colleagues to leave a feedback. But it's a first step and is a very important client orientation approach of UN services. So this is mainly the most important part that I wanted to show you for the site. But let me allow you in a second to show you the app, because I haven't, oh, sorry, no, I apologize. I needed to show you something else. I think I missed completely this mobility management area, which is absolutely important. I apologize. Now we have completely given, as you can see, is here.
We can't see the slides, Alessandra, sorry.
Okay, thank you, because I went back to the presentation. I apologize. I wanted to show you the app, but it's better that I go back to my presentation. Hold on a second. Okay, can you see the app?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. Apologies. I missed to show you the mobility management. This is an absolutely important area that we released at the end of 2020, where each office can manage its own driver list and vehicles list. So if you click on the drivers, you will see here are listed all of the drivers for our Erbil office. And you get the email, the phone number. You also get, this is a little bit confidential, the blood type, because this is a high, let's say a level 3 emergency for us. And so it's important that we have, information on the drivers. So you can add lots of information on the drivers. And you can also have, of course, the pictures if you want to. But by clicking on this feature logbook, when I click here, the fleet manager can see also from here all of the trips that driver has for the day. So as you can see, there are all the details of that driver, and there's also the possibility to call the client for that drive. So as you can see, there is a complete accountability in terms of the driver's logbook, which has been digitalized to enhance, a digital solution for the UN. Now, if we go back to the list, this is for the drivers, but you can do the same for the vehicles list. So if I take the vehicles, you will see all the vehicles that are devoted to, these are only the vehicles that the Erbil operation decided to put for mobility services. They don't have to be them all, they can be, but they don't have to. And as you can see, you can get all the details for each vehicle. You get the kilometers that they run for the trips of the hub. You get the chassis number, you get the number of passengers. This is useful for the booking service. And I want to show you two important features. The first one is that you can filter by agency. So in this case, Airbuild doesn't have, in this digital office, there are only WP vehicles, but if we add also vehicles from other agencies, you could filter and see them all. And another important feature that we want to show you is the mark as unavailable, because of course the booking is a live process. So you want to make sure that in the booking process, the system, that platform shows you as available only drivers and vehicles which are available. So I can mark as unavailable a vehicle because it's regular maintenance, extraordinary repair, or unavailable. I can select any vehicle and mark it as unavailable, and that would delete, or let's say not delete, but put in standby for the ranges of dates that vehicle for the booking functionality. So through this feature, every single office can manage its own availability of drivers and vehicle lists and details and data. But so now going to what I wanted to show you also is the services that we are running for our colleagues in the field. And I hope you can see now my
yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you so much. So as you can see now, I just wanted to go quickly to the app. So I won't go any more deeply into the booking part because you've seen it already. This is how a client can book any of our. As you can see, by the way, all of the the countries where we are present. You can click in any of these, and you can actually book a driver in any location. And it's as easy as you can see, and I can request a booking right now, and it's just as easy at a click for me to perform a booking. But what we really wanted to show you were the possibility for a client to also do interesting things on the homepage. So you can see here, there is a possibility for our clients to, first of all, review their bookings. So instead of not only we send the booking email confirmation, but we also have in here all the submitted requests of a client, and you can, so that you have your bookings there, the booking details, and there is nothing that you lose in there in terms of understanding what's going to happen for your booking. And also I wanted to share that you could also leave a feedback here in case the clients wants to report that the service was very good or there was any problem. The other thing that the customer can do, they can also book some favorites, so that these are shortcuts. If you wanna book your child, in this case it's accommodation, but can be a driver, of course, you can just very easily look at your preferred options, and you have a shortcut without having to go through the complete application there. So that I wanted to show you the driver, but I think again accommodation is more or less the same. The client can also manage the personal information, so that by changing these, the platform knows which is your email, which is the client's phone number, and can actually associate it to the different bookings. But what we wanted to show you here is also the most important part here is the My Driver. See, I'm also configured as a driver. So if I click on My Driver logbook and I click here, you will see that each driver has his personalized timetable for the day. So as you can see, for example, today I had a drive which I already finished. And for example, if I have a new one that I need to start, if I click and I want to start it, you will see in a second that you can put, of course, the kilometers for that location. And then what you can do, you can just submit. You are running now the trip. These are all the trip details. Where you arrive to where you have to arrive and leave the client, you can finish your trip, submit the odometer, put the odometer, and also have some calculations of the kilometers there by the driver themselves. So this is an important feature that will allow us to have always the kilometers also are inputted by the drivers. But as you can see, you can also call the passenger. So there's a feature on the top, on the bottom, sorry, that says call passenger. So with his mobile phone, if anything happens and he needs to inform the client that he is late, he can, of course, either access the email of the customer, which is in the middle of this planner, or also call the passenger directly from the app and make sure that there is a good communication about the services and about what's happening. So as I told you, we are going to finish the digital driver logbook by allowing our clients to also give the signature at the end of the presentation, at the end of the trip, so that we will digitalize completely the feature.
Alessandra, sorry.
Yes.
Can you, yeah. Okay. Sorry. We weren't seeing your screen. We are now.
Sure. Okay. So if we can move now to the, if we can move now to the next slides, allow me to skip these ones because I presented them to you. We wanted to quickly tell you that also we have streamlined some duty of care functionalities under COVID. We have distributed, and it's actually on our homepage, so you can download yourselves these interesting COVID guidance that we have produced in 3 languages. And these are some important easy tips for passengers when using our services and for drivers. As you can see, this is in French. We have it in 3 languages, but the platform also allows you to control the maximum number of passengers per trip, because you can limit them to only 1 per trip in case of COVID. And you can also, of course, contact tracing, because you have everything digitalized in the digital logbook. You know exactly who was where and when. We will add some other features in 2021 very quickly. We will add the client signature at the end of the trip, as we've said before. We are working on a cost recovery calculator for carpooling and all agencies. We also are working to support some of our locations that want to have asked us some support in the service agreement template for carpooling services. Our colleagues in Dubai, we have colleagues in WFP that take care of the fleet management and fleet leasing part, asked us to develop some daily vehicles check on the app for the driver and a fuel tracker. We are also working to integrate the GPS data into the platform, so that the kilometers and the time of the trip will be automatically taken from mobile phones, tracking systems, and OBDs. The mobile phone functionalities will be released in 1 or 2 weeks. And then we have some emergency specific features. Very few slides before we have the questions and answers. The beauty of all of us using the same tool is that we can have UN comparable data to scale up best practices. So as you can see, just as illustrative, you can see where are the most trips performed. You can see the transfer type. These are global data, the transfer types divided in town, airport, and out of town. And this is very interesting because you can have accountability of exactly who is asking you for a mobility service, not only in terms of different agencies, but also of requesting units, so that you could potentially even back charge internally your services to units in case of appetite. You get the trip purpose, so you can start analyzing the volume of trips depending on the reason why, and you also the trip type. So the majority of them are round trip, and some of them are one way. These are also, most of them are also going to the airport. And we see here a big opportunity for starting carpooling services only on this specific, route. But in here, you can see, for example, some mobility KPIs. We just didn't, we just wanted to tell you they have different agency piloting it on our hub. You see the different number of passengers and bookings they have managed, the number of trips. And again, we can start comparing passengers per trips or trips per vehicle per month to understand who is doing, at the best. In terms of this agency, for example, we can talk and understand which is, how they boosted the higher number of trips per vehicle, but we can definitely talk to another agency to understand how they succeeded in having the highest number, almost close to 2, of passengers per trip, thus maximizing ride sharing and carpooling opportunities. Great potential for efficiency gains. So if you use all of the potential of the hub, what you can do is really, we are calculating 4 different flows of efficiency gains. You can reduce, a lot of your time and save a lot of time by service automation. And we have put here some examples for automating online bookings, booking confirmations, everything, all the emails are going back and forth by themselves. The bookings appear on the mobile app. You don't need any more to advise anybody. The platform will advise the driver, the client, and of course the fleet manager. They initiated the trip organization. For example, just to give you data, WFP is working on calculating each of these flows, and we can share with you the last year. Even if it was a COVID year and we didn't have that many offices on board, we reached more, let's say, in the range of $500,000 of efficiency gains here in terms of time savings, and we are projecting 3 times as many in 2021, of course, depending on COVID. For the cost avoidance, this is really cash savings, and this is where you get the efficiency from the UN system and the reductions of the overhead costs. Examples would be the increased ride sharing and the carpooling, because you will save trips and you will save operational costs, of course. With this data, you can, of course, even optimize the profile of your fleet. For cost recovery, if you do add, you have a higher utilization rate because you increase your ride sharing for internal provisioning, you are in fact having some cost recovery because you're using the same asset in a better way. While if you go carpooling with other agencies, you're using your spare capacity to provide the service to others and also to be paid for it. Quality improvements are also very important. Of course, we hope we showed you the improved customer experience, the streamlining of the service management across allocations, countries, and agencies, the increased transparency and accountability. We can reduce C2, of course, carbon emission reductions because of the increased ride sharing and carpooling, and we can streamline customer satisfaction. Now I want to leave for a few minutes. We want to have invited some of our colleagues from different agencies that are implementing our services. So I will leave the floor to Leila from UNDP to tell us your experience in using the mobility service of the humanitarian booking app. Over. Leila? Can you take the microphone? Do you have problems with your microphone?
See, Leila, can you hear us there?
Thank you, Alessandra. Thank you for unmuting me. I could not speak because I was muted. Good evening to you all. I'm here to share the experience of using the application for us in Tanzania. Here in Tanzania, we have been using the humanitarian booking hub for transport service for just over a year now. It's being used individually by several UN agencies in Dar es Salaam, and we also have 2 interagency shared hubs in Dodoma and the northwest of Tanzania. Our experience has been really good. We have seen a lot of benefits from using this platform, both from the user perspective and as well as from the drivers and the fleet managers. Our users can now easily book their transport from the application. Just in a matter of a few clicks, they can request for their transport and get an acknowledgement on their email with the details of their trip, as well as the driver's details. This can be easily done from the user's computer as well as from their mobile phone using the mobile app, which it's very useful, and it allows people to book their transport requests from anywhere on the go. We find this interface or the application very user-friendly, and I mean, in terms of adoption for any application, we see this very, very easy to use. So it has been very easy to train our users and for them to be able to use the system with no problems. On the case of our fleet managers and drivers, now we have better management of travel requests. For the fleet managers, using the backend to manage and process the request, and also for the drivers as well, in terms of looking at their daily planning and organizing their bookings better, and how they can serve the users here in the office. The system, I mean, compared to what we used to use before in terms of having requests coming through emails to the fleet managers or making calls, the system is making our work very efficient. It also allows us to have historical data for transparency, basically knowing who's booking what, and having a log of all the trips or the travel requests made by each unit and in the office. Also, it allows our managers, our fleet managers, to be able to plan ahead and check the trends, particularly for, you know, knowing the peak times for when the requests are quite high, and even the peak routes, so they can actually ensure that they can accommodate the requests with enough vehicles and enough drivers. The fleet managers now can work efficiently. I mean, if you look at what Alexandra has presented, is quite a lot, but just in a nutshell, the fleet managers can have a one-pager to see all the different requests that come in through the day, see which one overlaps, and be able to combine trips. We think this feature is very, very useful to us. We are making very effective use of it, particularly in saving costs in terms of the number of trips that we can pull together. As opposed to before, we could not have this visibility. So you have a fleet manager assigning a car for a single trip, and then another one more or less in a similar time or going in a particular similar direction, having to be assigned another car. So now we can have a great overview of the daily requests and see which one overlap and which one are going in the same direction, and be able to pull them together and have a much more efficient system running for the office. The driver's logbook as well, e-logbook, it's very useful, eliminating the use of the physical logbooks through the use of tablets. This has been very, very a useful tool for the drivers. And obviously with the integration of the GPS as well, it will be even more efficient. The application allows us to view a number of reports as elaborated. This helps us, particularly the fleet managers, to make informed decisions, as well as management in terms of how well we are utilizing the fleet, see where we can save costs, particularly running costs of the fleet, and as well as see how we can reduce our carbon footprint. As you know, most of the cars we use here in the country office in the field are 4x4. So if we can maximize in terms of how well we use our vehicles, we're also potentially saving a lot, not just in terms of money, also in terms of the reduction in the CO2 emissions.
Okay.
We are really, yeah.
Yeah. I think we need to, you know, our colleagues from New York are ticking on the clock. I apologize because we were a little bit too long. So sorry to interrupt you, but I think I need to thank you for your comments. And I would ask also our colleagues from UNICEF, which were supposed to have a comment, if they can hold the comment for the Q&As and maybe, you know, drop in there. And I also would like to ask Cynthia Jones, our Chief of Administration, if she wants to actually jump in and have a say, or we just go directly to the Q&As. Over.
Hi. Hi, Cynthia. Sorry, in the interest of time, because we have 6 minutes, maybe can we get like a few questions very quickly, and then probably we could close the webinar with input from Cynthia. We might go like 5 minutes over time, but just making sure that we answer some of the key questions from colleagues here. Okay, so Alessandra, I think we have a few questions in the chat box. If you would like to take those with respect to the internet requirements and minimum specifications required for connectivity. And in the meantime, I would request colleagues to share their questions or raise their hands as they go.
Sure. Okay, in terms of interconnectivity, our app works also offline, which means that if you place a booking and then you are disconnected, the booking is retained in the platform, and as soon as you go back to connectivity, it will place that booking for you. The same thing is going to be for the clients sign off of the trips for the digital driver logbook. If they, for whatever reason, don't have the phone, they want to use their personal phone, they will receive a notification after when they are in connection for them to approve when they are back in connection. So we are trying to understand, and we are working with colleagues that we know how the internet connection can be a difficult challenge. And so the application works in both ways. Sorry, Zamir, any other, or from my team, if they want to, I could not see the chat during the presentation.
Yeah, Alessandra, there is a question about the app, if the app requires internet connectivity all the time, and if it works for Android, and the minimum specs.
Yes, it was for both Android, Apples, and by the way, do go on the app stores or Android stores now. It's under the UN application. You will see it under the UN application, and you can download it immediately so that you can have the experience. And by the way, just a trick to people, since you were all here having patient, you can place bookings on the Wanatu. If you go and look in the bookings, you will find an accommodation, a driver, and a clinic in the Wanatu, so that you can place bookings there. It's a fake, it's a test location. So you handle issues of insurance. Jada, you should mute your speaker. Thank you. Any other question?
Yes, there are. Okay, one is if the driver mobile phone is stolen, how does it guarantee safety and security of the customers?
For in terms of privacy, all the data are retained into our platform, which is has up to 3 levels of encryption for data privacy. So for the phone, we cannot do anything about it, of course. So I expect the client just to call whoever and say that and by the way, when the driver can call the client because the client is late, he will find out the theft. So I'm not sure I understood the question. I apologize. Okay, any other question?
Yes. How do you handle issues of insurance coverage for passengers?
Yes, we are going through these in WP. We have a comprehensive understanding. And so we are looking at, we have a matrix to understand what is covered by WP and the other agencies. And we are contacting each other agencies. The idea is that we will share that with the partners in the platform, because we think on this we have to have a common approach. So we need to make sure that each agencies have the same coverage for their own staff, and if they don't, of course there are waivers. But we are discussing also with the lawyers and see what we can do in terms of arriving to a common solution for there. Over, Zamir, have you raised your hand?
Alessandra, maybe there is a question. I think it's a good reminder to let the colleagues know how to obtain access for this platform for their agencies. Like we said, the most recommended approach is to join this platform collectively as OMT. So more than one agency try to participate in this platform, so that we could increase collaboration. But Alessandra, if you could shortly tell us briefly that what is the steps in order to gain access for this platform for an agency in a particular country?
Yes, what you can do is to actually contact us. What we do is, let me also maybe share the last slide. You can contact us, and what we can do, we can provide also a pilot. So you don't have necessarily to, take the service upfront. But what you can do, you can pilot the service if you want to if you wanna test it. And so you can contact it here at this email, or also you go in the platform, you'll find many different emails that you can use. We suggest you talk to your local WFP and UNICEF colleagues. Most of them should have this service already rolled out. UNICEF colleagues, we are rolling them all out. So you can also see the service in use already in many locations. You can consult the practice note that we have prepared. But definitely do contact us. We are super happy to organize dedicated OMTs demos. We do that every day, and we can onboard a single location. We can onboard an agency that wants to cover all locations in the country, or we can also talk at the global level with agencies for a global agreement, as we did with UNICEF, because UNICEF has with us a global agreement for the service to be for free to all UNICEF locations. So if you're a UNICEF colleague and you are not being contacted yet, do contact us. We are in the process of contacting you all to onboard them on the platform. Over.
Great. Thank you, Alessandra. Maybe what we can do, I can see a lot of other questions are coming in the chat box. Some of them are already covered as part of the presentation. What we will do, colleagues, we're going to share with you the recording of the presentation. We're going to also work with our colleagues in WFP to come up with a FAQ for frequently asked questions, and share an FAQ with you in the next couple of days, so that some of the questions that might have not been covered right now immediately are answered, and we could also think about other recurring questions as well. Let me open the floor for a couple of moments to our colleague Cynthia Jones from WFP, and then after that, I think we can conclude this webinar. Just an apology that I think we again had some mix-up in the links, and some colleagues were joining another Teams link. I have promised to the colleagues that we are going to run this webinar one more time for this time zone, for countries that are in this time zone. We'll send you the invites in the coming days. And our next webinar on this particular subject is tomorrow, New York time, tomorrow, which is the 11th of February at 5 a.m. In case if that is a better time zone for some of the audience, they can join, but we are gonna send a reminder with the link one more time. So Cynthia, over to you.
Thanks, Zamir. Good afternoon, good morning to everybody. I don't want to take a lot of time, and I just want to thank you for your participation and your interest. And really, I want to encourage those members of the OMTs to think about this presentation, discuss it back in your meetings. I know that many of you are embarking upon the looking at carpooling. It's inside your bosses. So it's just a message to say that we're absolutely here to be available to kind of talk you through the bosses. Now, what I do know is a lot of countries get have some trouble getting started. And so sometimes you don't have to do everything all at the same time. So you can take an agile approach to it, and you can take an agile approach to reporting what are your efficiency gains. So really, on my side, we're so happy to be able to share this with you, and we look forward to working with you. And I just want to congratulate Alexandra and her team who have been working on this and with all of you. Thanks, Zamira, and noted on the frequency of the frequently asked questions. I think that's a great idea. Over.
Thank you very much, Cynthia. Thank you, Alessandra, and the team in the background. Colleagues, we will be engaging with you in this. I think we have commitment from our colleagues in WFP that if you would need a dedicated presentation with your OMTs, in case if you have the initial, at least, commitment that you would like to use this platform for collaboration within your country, Alessandra and the team will be able to have a dedicated session with you to speak very specific circumstances on what do you need to do in your country context and how this platform could benefit your OMTs. So feel free to write to us to connect you or directly to Alessandra and the team. She has already shared the email address in the chat box, and we look forward to see utilization of this very, very good platform amongst the UN system. There is a huge desire amongst the UN colleagues and the management to see what they call it the Uber of the UN. I think platforms like this is really taking us toward that direction where one day we could see all agencies are collaborating on their fleet and having it managed in the same platform. So thanks again, and we will be looking forward to talking to you soon.